So, Bryan delivers you the goods, or as he's going to be christened on my chopping block, Bryan delivers you the rubbish, garbage, trash, and toxic waste. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another session of my chopping block where I will dissect a certain flip-flopper that has pretty much caused some ire going on between Ty or Junebug Films and Zach from Zach D Productions. Yes, you heard me right. It's Bryan delivers you the goods, or from now on, he'll be called Bryan delivers you the rubbish. So, I am not going to regurgitate a lot of what Ty has mentioned in his rant about Bryan delivers you the goods, or am I going to divulge too much into what Zach said? But from what I have heard from both Ty and Zach, Bryan delivers you the goods seems to be an extremely thin-skinned and absolutely immature curmudgeon who cannot take people's opinions with a fine grain of salt, let alone move on. And he also has a habit of cutting ties immediately just because of disagreements, no matter how big or how small they are. That's what you call immaturity right there. And the sad thing is, this guy, Bryan, is supposed to be in his early 30s, yet he still behaves as if though he were a child, let alone someone who is beyond the age of, let's say, 10 or 5 years old, just because of a disagreement and just because of other people not agreeing with him, let alone having people be with other people that he does not particularly like for petulant reasons. If that's not immature, I do not know what is. So Bryan delivers you the garbage. If you're watching this video, I have this to say about you. You really need to reevaluate yourself as a person. You need to seriously look into yourself. Ask yourself this: am I being man enough to admit some really harsh and uncompromising truths without holding back, let alone flinching? Because from what I've heard from Ty and Zach, you do not seem to be that type of man who even bothers to take full responsibility of your actions, let alone full responsibility of yourself. Because if you were a real man, you would take full accountability of yourself, move on, and just let other people be and just live and let live in terms of their opinions. It doesn't matter what they say about you. Look, you're looking at a guy who's had frenemies all across the border. I've been called out multiple times. I have dealt with my fair share of people who have criticized me, who have done certain things that I don't always approve of, but does that make me a loser and want to go off on them for just expressing their opinions, even though they think that they have every right to do so? I don't even want to bother going off on certain people like that, let alone being petulant, let alone being overly childish, unlike you. Yes, I've dealt with people who have called me a fail at life. Yes, I've dealt with people who have called me stupid, who have called me so many things, and I do have every right to be furious at those people and also make them realize that they're just as garbage. But you, Bryan, oh my goodness. the horror stories that I've heard from people like Ty, people like Zach, and people who have become thoroughly acquainted with your infamy speaks volumes. And I mean loud volumes. You, sir, have no capability of living and let living. You, sir, are being absolutely clingy to what people think of you for what? Approval that you might not bother to attain, or even wanting to have everybody be on your side, even though you have done and said some really questionable things and even did certain things that has guaranteed bridges to be burnt. I think it really does say a lot about you. Bryan delivers you the garbage, shit, rubbish, poop, and fecal matter, because you cannot even begin to look within yourself and acknowledge all of the stuff that you need to improve on. I'm pretty sure that you are darn intimidated at what your true self is telling you right now. And that, to me, is one of the greatest tragedies ever. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for cutting ties with people that have disagreements that are otherwise innocuous at best, and you choose to go off on them because they, what, hurt your feelings? They made you feel really sad, like a little boy not wanting his lollipop or not even getting his lollipop? Give me a break, Bryan. There's a lot of worse things that can happen in this world, far more than what your thin-skinned behind could ever deal with. And that's honestly what you also are, Bryan. You are thoroughly thin-skinned. You cannot accept other people's criticisms, let alone critiques, to make you a better person. You choose to not take responsibility, and you choose to not even take a single look within yourself and acknowledge that, hey, maybe I need to change for the better. Maybe I need to make sure that I don't end up burning too many bridges. I need to make sure that I treat people fairly and in a balanced manner, and not go off on them as if though I were a toddler having a tantrum. Maybe that's what you should keep practicing, Bryan. And unless you are willing to swallow your pride, swallow your ego, I am hoping that you get your act together. I'm really hoping that you get your act together and acknowledge that things need to be changed about you. Not Ty, not Zach, not even me, not even everybody else who had every right to criticize you, let alone critique you, let alone call you out on your bullshit. But you need to start from within yourself. You need to look deeply into yourself and really, really ask yourself the tough question, let alone the tough questions, so that you can grow to be a much better person than you are right now. Because if you don't, you are going to leave a legacy that is full of shame, ire, frustration, and sadness. And I would not want that for you. Bryan delivers you the garbage, shit, and fecal matter. I would not want that for you. So if you want me to stop being acidic towards you, you need to start taking full accountability of yourself. Start owning up to the things that you have done wrong, accept full responsibility, and really own up to your mistakes. Because if you don't, well, you're going to find yourself in my chopping block for a very long time, and you would not love what I could do for you, let alone say about you, if you choose to not man up, if you choose to not take full responsibility like the mature adult male that you are supposed to be. So, Bryan, if you do not want to get spanked by me on the internet or in real life, I highly suggest that you take a nice look at yourself, a nice, long, hard look at yourself, and really own up to your mistakes, own up to your bridge burning ways, and maybe, just maybe, you can manage to find repentance as well as return to our good graces, because clearly you have not done anything to return to Ty's or Zach's or to anybody's good graces, because you can't take accountability. So I'm really begging you, Bryan delivers the goods. If you truly deliver the goods, take accountability like a real mature adult. Please do take full accountability for once, and then things will be all right. So, one final message to Bryan delivers you the goods, or in this case, the garbage. Don't act like such a puerile little bridge burner. You're going to make yourself look a whole lot worse and feel a lot worse, because you'll have nobody to comfort you, let alone to confide in you, because of your immaturity, because of your inability to take criticism like a real adult should. And more importantly, it would be a big shame if you continue to be disloyal towards other people who have given you nothing but their friendship, their allegiance, their respect, and their social responsibility. And what do? You throw it all away. You discard them. You think that they're attacking you. We're not attacking you, Bryan. We're just trying to help you grow into the best version of yourself. So please keep that in mind. And until then, I'll see you on the flip side. If you've managed to grow up, that is.